If you're using the PHP built-in session management functions, then you'll need to know how to save and access the session data. Setting session data variables is very easy. First, you have to set the data into a variable, just as you would with all your other data. The next step is to register it as a session variable. Do this with the session register function. You can register one or more variables at once. In action, it would look something like this. We have our session start, we set our variable, and we register our session. The var variable is then saved as a session variable. Very extremely big note here. If your server is set to work with register globals off, then you cannot use the session register function. You'll have to register variables using the superglobal session array. You do this by simply setting a new array member in the superglobal sessions array, as you can see here. This will register a session variable as well. If you're going to use the PHP session tracking functions, and I recommend always using this method rather than the session register. This way, you don't have to worry about whether the register global setting is on or off. To retrieve a session variable, just simply reference it through the session superglobal array, just as you would any other array variable. To unset a session variable or to change it, you again manipulate it in the session superglobal array, just as you would any other array variable. To see how the session variables work, here's a simple two-page script. On our first page, we start our session, set a variable, register our session variable, and then go to the next page. And then on our second page, we again start our session, which we must do on the top of every page that we're going to use our sessions. Then we print out the saved variable. And as well, I'm going to print out the whole session superglobal array, just so you can see it contained within that array. So let's have a look at this. First, if we take a look at my cookies here, you can see under Real World Programming website, there's 3 cookies here. Now these cookies aren't the ones we're about to set. So just remember that we had 3 cookies set for this domain. We visit our first page. Nothing appears to have happened unless we go into our cookies and we see, voila, we have a PHP registered cookie, the name of PHP session ID, and in the contents we have a referencing number here that PHP uses to reference a temporary file on the server's hard drive. Now remember that on this first page we're registering a variable. So we go to the next page and there's our variable printed out that we registered. Again, on the first page, this is a variable saved in a session. This is a variable saved in a session. And in our sessions superglobal array, we can see we have a variable var registered with this value. And again, in our cookies, you can see there's our PHP ses ID and the referencing value that it automatically sets. So PHP will automatically manage the contents of that session for you.